Do you remember those nice, hot summer days where you were outside playing with your friends and the most wonderful sound you could hear would be the sound of the ice cream truck? Now imagine if that was also the scariest thing you could hear. And that's going to be the subject of today with Ice Cream Man. Stay tuned and watch this video till the end. And we're back. So today we're going to be talking about Ice Cream Man, specifically the Sundae edition volume 1, this nice hardcover from Image Comics. Please give the video a thumbs up and comment down below with your thoughts throughout the video. Those kind of things help the YouTube algorithm put this video in front of the eyes of people that don't know my channel exists. And also, subscribe, because I'm doing 31 days of horror comics throughout October. So there's the latest, but there's so many more videos I've done already in this month and so many more to come. There is a playlist involved too if you want to catch up on the previous ones. So this is Ice Cream Man by W. Maxwell Prince, Martin Morazzo, and Chris O'Halloran. This is a great series that they've been doing with Image Comics. I think they're up to issue 42 at this point. This hardcover collects the first 12 issues. And it's a really beautifully done total package here. You can see there's like a nice shine on the cover. And then the Ice Cream Man character here is like embossed. And even the lettering there too is as well. Here's the spine. And there's one scoop of ice cream to indicate volume 1. The second volume that has come out has 2 scoops there, which is, I think, a really cool way to indicate that. And hopefully we get a volume 3 here soon. There is one rumored. Here's one of the characters depicted on the back as well. When you open up, the end papers are they have sprinkles and popsicles, very ice cream-like. It's the same on the back end papers as well. It's a really, really cool book design to go over with the whole package, which is one of the things that I think sets this series apart from other ones, is that all the cool variant covers they've done in the series as well, and just like the cool overall design and package of all these issues. So you see, you get a great table of contents here, and then a quote from George Saunders, and then little dedications. Now, so for the chapter breaks, this is also great because this is an issue I have with some Image Comics and some collected editions in general, is that there's no chapter breaks sometimes, or no covers between them. This one does that. Not only do you get a cover or a chapter break image here, Raspberry Surprise, but then you get the full cover without the trade dress on the left-facing page before the issue starts. So you get all the covers intact to separate the issues. So what this series is about is an Ice Cream Man, as you can imagine. And let me see if I get rid of that glare. No? Okay. And it kind of works as an anthology series where the Ice Cream Man is kind of like a little bit of the horror host, if you think about like Tales from the Crypt and Haunt of Fear and those kinds of things from back in the day. But he's a more involved, because he's actually a character within the story. So he's not just hosting the stories and just introducing them. He's actually a character, you can see right there, involved within the story. It's a little bit of a twist on that horror host vibe. And each issue tells a completely different story, though, but it's all taking place within the same world or same town. So you will see certain characters cross over through different issues. So if you get introduced to a character, you might see them come up later. It's not just completely isolated, totally different issues. But the great thing about that is that after reading this, I think that this is one of the rare series of the last 10, 15 years that I could truly say works really well as a single issue unit on the stands, that anybody can pick up as any random issue of Ice Cream Man and not be lost, get a whole complete package and story, and but also works as a complete unit in a collected edition as well. So it kind of makes me regret not picking this up in single issues from the get-go, from back in the day. So there are a lot of, one of the cool things about this too is that W. Maxwell Prince and Martin Morazzo does all of the artwork throughout the entire thing, so it's very consistent artwork. But the cool thing is, I feel like they have this character of Ice Cream Man, and it gives them the opportunity to explore basically any type of story that they've ever wanted to tell, which as a creative team, I'm assuming that allows for a lot of freshness, that you're not just constantly dealing with the same exact characters and story throughout, 40 plus issues and getting kind of bored here and there of drawing the same thing over and over again. They're exploring different avenues. Like the first issue is about this little boy that has his pet spider, and then the police find out that his parents are actually dead and he's been living on his own for 2 weeks with dead parents in the house. And you get to see the cause and everything involved with that. The second issue is about these two drug addicts, this couple that are in love, and they're both drug addicts, but one's trying to get clean, the other one maybe not so much. And then it's kind of like that Breaking Bad thing, is like when you start doing one bad thing, you have to keep doing more to cover up your mistakes of the other one. So it's like this perpetual snowball effect of terribleness involved, and then maybe making a deal with the devil kind of thing towards the end of that story. This one is probably my favorite issue. This one is the music issue, and it's about this one-hit wonder, this guy that wrote this one-hit wonder back in the day that kicked off and started the rock and roll phenomenon before Elvis even. But then as the years went on, he could never write another hit song. He only wrote one hit song, and that was it. So you can see he's living his adult life as a normie, not getting any sort of love or fanfare from people. People don't even recognize him, and he's still upset about it. Still tears him up. But then he goes into, because of the Ice Cream Man, this musical acid trip, like surreal kind of adventure where he's meeting Major Tom from like the David Bowie song, and a bunch of other characters that are names of songs that are depicted here by the imagination of Martin Morazzo and W. Maxwell Prince. You even see like the countdown there, like in the song. And then here you see Captain Jack, Eleanor Rigby, Ziggy Stardust, Rocky Raccoon, Major Tom. So he's meeting all these characters from songs in the music industry and trying to overcome this tyranny, if you will. So it's a really cool issue that's, again, just kind of off the wall. You see the yellow submarine flying in the distance there. This one is like a more heartbreaking and grounded one after he just went on that surreal acid trip. The next issue is going to be this more grounded story where this guy has to do the eulogy at his ex-best friend's funeral. And they kind of just drifted apart. It wasn't like there was like a big break in their friendship or anything. But then he reconnects with the estranged father of that friend, and they talk and stuff. And one thing I want to note here is the wonderful colors by Chris O'Halloran. Does a great job, like with all the colors of the stories, really depicting certain things and letting them set apart, but also feel as a complete unit. And it works really well with Martin Morazzo's incredible line work. He has like a deadline, clean line kind of look to his artwork. Kind of reminds me of like a Chris Burnham or even like Mobius was famous for like the clean line kind of look. And just like the ways of telling stories too, within like these different 9-panel grids and the way they're working with it. Like this was such a incredible comic book series that I immediately had to go get volume 2 and the series Art Brut that Maxwell Prince and Martin Morazzo did together as well. So here you're getting introduced to this other character, and now this character, dressed in all black, this kind of cowboy western guy, is the antithesis of the Ice Cream Man, which works as like a good versus evil, but the guy dressed in black is like the good, and the Ice Cream Man is the evil, dressed in white. Or so it appears. Maybe it doesn't turn out to be that way. And you get introduced to him because he's going to start playing a part into the larger context of the story here. This one is like an office drama where this guy is jumping to his death at the beginning of the story. And great landscapes and great point of view there. And as he's falling, he's just reminiscing, but then also these horrible things are happening throughout the story within this office. Dynamics. I'm trying not to spoil too much as we go through through here. This is the Neapolitan story. So this is one of the more famous ones where they really kind of play with what you could do with comics and the kind of different ways of storytelling throughout comics. And the way that this is, it starts off with these normal page layouts, but then you get to this part where it becomes Neapolitan. And as you read this, there's 3 tiers throughout the rest of the story, and it's mostly silent. There is some word balloons of noises and things, but it's mostly silent. And the top tier is going to be telling one story throughout. And then the middle tier will tell a different story. And then the third tier will tell another different story. So it starts off with this guy getting ice cream. And then it goes off into these 3 different trajectories where he encounters different things. The way I read this the first time was that I went through and just read the top ones all the way through. And then I read the middle ones all the way through, and then the bottom ones. You can do it however you want. I thought that was the most linear way to do it. But a really cool different storytelling device and way to do it. And they all have like this time progression of months, years, days. And then they all kind of end pretty horribly in that. So here's another story where this young girl has a friend that passes away due to cancer at a young age, so it's very tragic, obviously. See here eating ice cream. Ice cream's got to be involved in every story, right? And she pertains that her friend that didn't pass away, and then it becomes kind of an imaginary friend or ghost that's living with her that she just refuses to let go of that her friend actually did pass away. And then her parents are dealing with the tragedy of maybe their daughter kind of losing herself in that. And then her daughter encounters something pretty horrific and has to face facts and face real life. And it's kind of a coming of age story of growing up and becoming mature and losing that kind of imaginary aspects of being a kid, but almost in the most horrific way of being encountering that. This one's got 2 people that drive an ambulance, and they're driving around, and they are unfortunately taking pills. They stole pills from the hospital, and they're taking pills, and they go kind of on this big giant high of a trip, and they're refusing to deal with what their real life is like. They're seeing each other in crazy different ways. Again, just a way to explore and let Martin Morazzo draw crazy stuff, which is perfect for his deadline. So one thing that also Jason Burrows is another artist that reminded me of, because I just recently read Neonomicon by Jason Burrows and Alan Moore, and it had this kind of like deadline effect where like there were these static characters. Maybe that's not the best image of a static character. Okay, here probably not the best, but static characters where it's almost boring. Like that's a terrible way to say it. I don't mean the art is boring, but it's kind of like putting you into a false sense of security because you're seeing this kind of static imagery, this deadline. But then when you see this crazy stuff going on, it really kind of throws you for a loop. So it's kind of like, in a way, kind of messes with your mind and works as kind of a jump scare in a weird way. So this issue is really like kind of the first instance where we're getting kind of a deep dive into the origin story of Ice Cream Man and his compadre here. It's not telling you the entire origin story. It's not telling you everything. I think that's kind of the mystery of who Ice Cream Man is and where he comes from is part of the charm of the series. So they just give you little bits here and there. But this is the first of that. So it's not really like in the small town. It takes place back in the West on a different planet, perhaps. And there's a reason why Ice Cream Man goes to Earth, and you'll see that come to fruition in there. This one takes place in Mexico. Ciudad Juarez. Sorry, my Spanish accent's off today. And you're seeing the 2 characters, the dark and the light, the evil and the good, interact throughout this issue as well. Again, the coloring is just absolutely magnificent. This one is probably my second favorite issue. There was not a single issue in this book that I didn't like. I loved every single one of them. So when I say my favorite issue, like, just to let you know that the bar was set high. It was like, you know, my favorite issue and then my next favorite, you know, they're very close. All of them are great. But this man's trapped in reality TV. So this whole issue is just parodying all these dumb reality TV shows that exist in the world. And when I say dumb reality TV, I watch dumb reality TV shows too, so I'm not judging. I watch plenty of trash reality TV. But they are dumb. We can agree that, right? Even though we watch them. And it's just making fun of all those, but in like these horrific horror comics kind of ways. Wealthy Family Zombies is obviously making fun of the Kardashians. So there's that. And then I think this is the last issue, right? Yeah, issue chapter 12. This one takes place in space. So now we're getting a cosmic adventure. So that's what I'm trying to talk about. Like letting W. Maxwell Prince and Martin Morazzo explore all these different types of genres and storytelling, whether it be in space or westerns or just your small town neighborhoods or these surreal acid trips. They're exploring all these, but it all takes place within the same context of the same story. And that's what's kind of magical about this. Like this was, no issue felt like it was a completely separate thing. Like they all felt together, but they all did feel like they can live on their own, which is kind of like the magic of comics in a single issue comic unit. All right, here's the back matter now. So here we have featuring the art of. This is the way to do variant covers. Anybody watching that puts together books, one of my biggest pet peeves is when you have variant covers and there's no artist on the actual page. Sometimes they'll do like the contents here like in order, but you have to keep going flipping back and forth. Like, okay, the fourth one there, the fourth page, but this one has that, but also down below has the artist. Does it sacrifice some of the art? Sure, but you can find other creative ways to put that name on there without sacrificing the art if you want to make it totally full bleed, but I digress. So really cool variant covers here. Some by Martin Morazzo for second printings of issues, but some by other artists. Fraser Irving's just magnificent. I love his crazy stuff. And this was back when Christian Ward, Fabio Moon, great artist, back when, this one's funny, Censored for Indecency, because they're showing an ankle. Before they really started blowing up, like now the variant covers for Ice Cream Man are like a huge kind of treat of comics. It's kind of a fun little thing that you wait for to see who's going to do the next variant cover for Ice Cream Man. Like doing like Dr. Seuss parodies and these kinds of things. So I'm assuming in like volume 2, which I'll do an overview of when I get that in because I can't wait to read that. It's going to be a must read when I pick it up. I'm assuming there'll probably be more variant covers throughout that and more as we continue on. So those are the variant covers. Here's a sketch gallery with a little introduction by, I'm assuming written by Maxwell Prince. And these are just him sketching out the characters and sketching out cover ideas. And here's the issue 1 script. I don't know if does it contain the whole script? No, it doesn't. Okay. They don't contain the whole script, but they're trying to just give you an idea of what, it is a sampler there. An idea of how the script process looks from W. Maxwell Prince to Martin Morazzo. Here's issue 6 with the Neapolitan story where it had like the 3 tiers and him explaining that process and how it's going to work. I think this whole script is in here. No, it's not. Okay. Or is it? 8? No, it's not in here. Okay, not the whole thing. Here's the Western story of issue 9. And then, oh, so there is one story. The story that takes place in Mexico, I should have said that too. It starts off in Spanish. Let me see if we can find it real fast. Yeah, so all the dialogue is in Spanish for the first 5 or 6 issues. Or, sorry, 5 or 6 pages. Maybe 7 or 8 pages. And then it gets into English. So if you want the translation for that, they do have all the translation into English back here. So it looks like the first, the first 6 pages, and then there are some more Spanish throughout the rest of the issue. So you can go back and forth and do the translation if you want. I just kind of read it at first as a kind of like a silent issue almost while those parts were happening and letting the art tell me the story. And then I went back and read it with the translation. Here's just a cover with just the inks, which is great to see Martin Morazzo's artwork with no color on it, even though Crystal Hanlon's color is just amazing. And then here's a little peek inside of how W. Maxwell Prince just like sketches out the script basically by hand and how they start off that way. And then here is the issue 1 cover, and the issue 1 cover without colors. And I guess the inside of each Ice Cream Man issue, I'm assuming the inside front cover had a different design to it like this. And this was done by Ashley Walker, who'd also designed this book. And she did a tremendous job in designing this book. And then here's a letter written by W. Maxwell Prince, and he wrote this kind of in the height of the pandemic, and how that kind of affected this in the story and him as a writer and that kind of thing. But yeah, that's Ice Cream Man, Sunday edition by W. Maxwell Prince, Martin Morazzo, Crystal Halloran. I cannot recommend this book enough. It is such a fun horror comic and such a cool exploration, having one central character that kind of bleeds throughout all the issues, and each issue being their own unit. Really, really top-notch stuff. One of my favorite reads in horror comics ever, probably, honestly. But thank you for watching. Again, subscribe and make sure you go to the playlist to watch all the videos you've missed out on for the horror Halloweens, the 31 days of horror Halloweens. And then stay tuned. If you subscribe and hit that bell notification icon, you will not miss a single video going forward, because I will have a new video every day this month. Thank you guys, and keep talking comics.